Good day, gentlemen. This is a pre-recorded briefing made prior to your departure, in which for security reasons of the highest importance has been known on board during the mission. Now that you are in Jupiter's space and the entire crew is revived, it can be told you. 18 months ago, the first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered. It was buried 40 feet below the lunar surface, near the crater Arcka. Except for a single, very powerful radio emission aimed at Jupiter, the 4-million-year-old black monolith has remained completely inert. Its origin and purpose still a total mystery.
You're listening to my daddy, All Gorilla MC.
Let's go! Finish him off! If you can't do it, then maybe you should let man, yeah, I said to kill the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our label to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewiz.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from Hunger.
Yeah. Lay Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? Oh, yeah, come on with another wonderful episode of Beast Vibes Life. It's been forever. Look, I'm going to go in and say that I miss these guys so much. We text each other, you know what I'm saying, throughout the pandemic and stuff. We've been texting, like, talking, you know what I'm saying, talking that talk, you know what I'm saying, on the chat. But it's good to see these young brothers' faces, you know what I'm saying, so we can talk about some hip-hop, all right? And when I say young brothers, I'm going to start off right over here, all right? ARC, Father Part 3, Arckatron, what's up?
Hey y'all, it's me Arckatron, and the place to be, ARCKTRON, is where you can find me on Bandcamp, because I've shut that site down. So .com is on hold for now. I'm gonna be real with y'all, you know what I mean? But yeah, but you can find me on arckatron.bandcamp.com with all my music. And I'm gonna be reformulating some things right now. I'm getting back. As you see, I'm getting back. I'm here.
Gotta formalize.
So, yes. I'm ready to get busy. You know what I'm saying? Top 10 hip-hop albums all time. Let's get it.
All right. Bottom Square, you know him, you love him, you bought his album, and War High Sign.
No, you didn't. But I appreciate that. Yeah, and War High Sign, man. What up?
He said, no, you didn't. All right, so.
You did. The ones who did. Appreciate it, yeah, man.
Appreciate it. I'm about to be out of this because y'all don't appreciate it. But
I'm out of this because you want to be below. Y'all in love with the S.
I'm not even joking. But top 10, we're gonna get this top 10.
Yeah, probably like Cochran, Sharpton, Mount Monton. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, so before we get into the top 10, I want to throw in a little something real quick. Little brother got a documentary coming. Does anybody care?
Nah.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
No.
were you speaking about something?
Oh man.
I mean, not really.
Okay. I'll say I kind of like in a roundabout way kind of care about the documentary. I'm not like rushing to my streaming service to find it or wherever it's going to be on or whatever, but I'm kind of interested in it because a lot has played out online anyway. I can't remember it all, but a documentary I guess is kind of nice. I just, I don't know if I'm super excited. I know the OK player types are like pumping it up, but one thing I noticed about the trailer
that's the 1-2 punch. That and the Blackstar.
Yeah. So speaking about that, since I've noticed that there's a documentary coming around, also, we have a date for Blackstar. Do we care about Blackstar?
Musically, right now, I care about like half of Blackstar.
Well, Madlib is there. Is it 2/3 of Blackstar? 2/3?
Well, I wouldn't count him as a member of Blackstar.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, I would say. No.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was
answer your question. No, I don't care at all. I only like Madlib and Yasin, and I don't care to sign up for a subscription to listen to an album.
That's the part that got me, because I didn't know that. Like when you hit me up and you were like, nah, like this is behind like a subscription thing. I'm like, so I can't just buy the album? Like I just let me buy the album. Like I just want to buy the album so I can have it and I can play it. And then like I showed you, somebody commented on YouTube. They were like, so they're basically telling us to pirate it. Like, because what's going to happen is someone's going to subscribe, stream the album, cut the album, put it out. Like, it's like,
it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. Maybe there's something about it that they haven't revealed yet, but to me, that just doesn't make sense. What if I don't want Luminary anymore?
Yeah, if you don't want Luminary anymore, that means you got to get rid of all your.
If I get the subscription, does it mean that I get to then download the album? Is that the pay gate?
I doubt it.
Is there can I just only stream it? And why should I have to pay monthly to stream one album in perpetuity?
Yeah, it's probably like Disney Plus, where it's like, yo, if you want to watch this movie, you gotta have Disney Plus, unless you maybe go to like the Disney store and buy the movie, but you're gonna have to. I'd probably be.
Yeah, like I'd probably be. This is the point I was making to somebody else. When you have something like Spotify, you're paying for a subscription. Apple Music, you're paying for a subscription. But you're paying for the convenience because you're paying to have access to everything.
Yep.
That makes it different. That's a different conversation than, okay, you putting out your 9-track album and then you making me jump through hoops just to hear it after waiting a quarter century.
Yeah, right.
And I don't even enjoy half of the group's music. I only enjoy Yasin Bey.
Since then, you're like, since that point, since the first album.
Since that first album, I'm not a fan of. I'm only a fan of Yasin and Madlib, man. And I'm not willing. If it was a Yasin Madlib album, I would be more flexible about jumping through the hoops and trying to figure it out. But nah, man, I ain't gave too much of myself to this.
And the fact that
Mad Bay album, Mad Bay or Yasin Lib. I'm for that.
Yeah, or like the Blackstar you were talking about before, Yasin and Black Thought, and then Mad Lib.
Oh yeah,
because
Black Death, Black Day, yeah.
Like it. Oh man, because
I don't want that either. I don't even want that.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I don't want that.
Ooh.
Album with Madlib.
Yeah, so there is this kind of thing that we have to go in and be honest with ourselves about. Is Kweli has had kind of like diminishing returns since Reflection Eternal. Like it's been, and then his like personal attitude about things hasn't helped at all. So it's not like, yo, man, his rhymes ain't really hitting all the time, but like, yo, he's a really nice guy. Like, I really like him. Like, it's like, I don't really care for him, and his rhymes ain't really killing it. And you know what? I'm kind of tired of his voice. It's not a good look.
I don't enjoy that.
Nah.
I enjoy none of that.
Oh man,
I'm frankly tired of like. I'm tired, bro.
All right, so
they're doing too much.
Way too much. So let's go on and get into the top 10. All right, top 10 hip hop albums, our favorites. All right, you know what I'm saying? This is our list.
This is just personal list.
This is personal list. You know, his list, my list, your list, whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Personal. I mean, it's not your list. It's our list.
Your list. Our list. His list, my list, and his list.
Yeah.
So your list is different. I don't care. If you don't agree with my list or his list, I super don't care. I don't want to hear your synopsis on why we wrong. Yeah. Go choke on something. Make a list and start a podcast, and then you can do your own thing.
There you go.
You're gonna take it how you gonna take it, man.
Speculations.
You're gonna take it how you gonna come out your own way, man.
So I did want to know, before we get started, I'll start with Anwar. What was your criteria for this list? When you were making this list, what was the criteria for how these albums got in?
To say the truth, my main criteria was my personal experience with it. So if it connects me to a certain time in my life, maybe a simpler time, maybe whatever the case may be, then it makes it on the list. If it's something that I listen to this day and I still have certain feelings behind, it's on the list. It really wasn't that, I didn't really get too deep with all of that.
Okay, Arckatron?
Yeah.
Mine it's super rooted, like super it could be perceived as like narrow money. But for me, it was there's one that's super big and the other one's just like regular. For me, it's no skips. If I skip a track on this joint, I need to play through. I like to play an album straight through. Okay. I can play it from top to bottom. There it is. And also, another thing is if it's in rotation. Meaning, if I keep coming back to this and I keep learning something or hearing something new or doing some research and finding some new information about it, then it's basically on this list. And then obviously, like, I like the music. I love the music. It's great music to me, so that's obvious if that was, apparent. You know what
I mean? For me, my criteria is probably like, what albums have I like played the most throughout, like, kind of like you said, going back to it, like what has a high replay value? And I kind of do this with movies to a certain degree as well. Like someone might say, oh, well, the Piano is a great movie. Well, yeah, but I might only be able to watch that once. As for Coming to America, the first movie, I'm going to talk about the second one, Coming to America, I've watched that like 20, 30 times. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it. He said, that's it?
I've watched that movie probably a million times.
Man, I countless. But like, that's what I mean by like, is this an album that I've come back to over and over? And albums that I might reference in a conversation, like not only been a part of my like, my formative years, but also something that I still come back to that, kind of remind me of a simpler time. And also still, they still work, they still, put them in the system like, oh, I got a little bump to the system. Even though I'm all stock right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm uncle status, so I'm stock right now, I ain't got nothing in the truck. No bass. I don't need nobody to turn on the lights. All right, stock system. But yeah, that's probably what I ended up playing the most. And I was trying to think about those albums that I played the most. And that's why the list started expanding. And I was like, I got to figure out 10. So that was the tough part. But yeah, I think that's where mine is. So let's see, who should start off with number 10? With that 10. Anwar, what's your number 10?
All right. And for the record, my list is not in order. So
all right.
It's just 10, but Diamond D, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Ooh, okay. Why? Yeah.
I came across it at, kind of a formative time, and for whatever reason, it just spoke to me. It's a super catchy album. It's got a lot of heart. It's got a lot of dope beats, dope samples, ill layers, and it's just a really fun album to listen to. And I gave it a lot of burn. And just through giving it as much burn as I did, it just created a soft spot for me. It was kind of my first introduction to anything DITC.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Arckatron, number 10.
Number 10. Oh, this is a hard one because initially when I first heard it, I used to skip this song, but now I don't skip it. And I keep listening to it. Number 10 for me is Illmatic.
You don't skip that song anymore?
I don't skip the song anymore. I play it straight through. Yeah, I stopped skipping that song maybe.
I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah, I just couldn't get down. But like as it's getting older, I like the song more and I get it more and I get why it's on the album more. So the song we're talking about is Life's a Beat. You know what I mean? And then Deep. You know what I mean?
Then you deep.
For the Nasty Nas Illmatic CD.
Number 3 Static, yes.
Oh.
yes.
Waving automatic guns to nuns, you know what I'm saying?
So
that's normal stuff that we do.
Yeah, so that album, top to bottom, has like the best producers. Pete Rock, Tip, Pete Premier, Prime. Like Prime, they all were like clicking at the same time. It was great. It was a great vibe. It was great. It was one of those first albums that had multiple producers like that. So like that was an early blueprint for the other people to follow after that, And it had a particular sound to it too, that they all kind of connected and then kind of fused to become this great album called Illmatic.
All right. Okay. My number 10 is The Roots. Little brother is the listening. No. The Roots, Things Fall Apart.
Okay.
Things Fall Apart is an album where I'd also agree, at least for me, there's no skips. It came at a time where the Soulquarians were like in this, like they were like really like a machine, right? They were all clicking. And I think that some of the best stuff came out of that. And on another album that is also on my list that you probably already know, but and another album that's on my list came out of this time. But yeah, the features.
I got an idea what it might be.
Yeah,
I already know what it is. You gotta hide it from the people.
The features.
You gotta hide it for us easy, man.
You ain't got front for me, man.
You ain't got front for me, man.
But
play
yeah,
that role.
And even Dice Raw comes through on this album. You know what I'm saying?
Dice has a sizable amount of verses on this album.
But yeah, everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, this album just works for me. I really like it. And
classic. I like how Malik B and Black Thought were clicking on this album. Yeah, like always, their connection were always like back, like they click. Like the two albums, I say Half-Life and this and Things Fall Apart. They were clicking like
they were deep in the dance at that point.
Yeah.
Real crazy on that album.
This one was,
yeah.
Y'all ain't saying that new, like any, just.
Adrenaline. Yeah, they got
Adrenaline.
Beanie pops up.
One of his first appearances.
Yep, they used to talk. I'm gonna quiet them.
And the good thing is that they were Black Thought wrote none of these rhymes. That's the interesting part. Black Thought didn't.
Malik B wrote all of this stuff, right? What you saying?
Malik B wrote all of it.
Jaguar, right?
And Jaguar was the inspiration for everything else.
Clearly. Things fall apart.
Jaguar made it possible.
Yes.
Jag made it possible.
Jag made it possible.
That's deep plates right there. That's a reference right there that only we will get.
Yes. So anyway, number 9.
Yo, hit the DMs if y'all want to know what that reference is about.
Oh, man.
I cannot guarantee that we will tell you.
So number 9.
You want to go in different order? Okay, let's go.
Well,
you
and
want
what
to
you
go
got?
round robin, or you want?
The round robin.
You know what? So I'll get it out the way since Arcka already brought it up on his end. Illmatic is obviously and of course on my top 10 all time.
Yeah.
Forever and ever until the sun burns
Forever
out.
and ever, forever.
Forever
For
and
those
ever,
that don't
and ever
know,
and ever.
For those that don't know, Nas is my personal greatest of all time, immovable from the one slot. So
there you have it.
Right.
Wavy hair, chipped teeth.
Up in this chick deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we all know why. I think Ark already explained why. Although I did not have the same issue as him with not liking Life's a Beat.
Me neither. Like he vehemently
he really hated that one for a long time. But I'm happy that you came around on that because I think it's a dope song, man.
I mean, because AZ, if it wasn't AZ does help this song a lot for me.
He's new and exciting on there. He's very exciting on it.
So,
but Nas's verse is no slouch either, though.
But I'm thinking maybe it shouldn't be that early. That's probably what I'm saying. Like the placement of it should be shifted a little bit. It's too early. That's like number 3. Yeah, just too early. Put that
it's right off. They get right on with it.
Yeah. That's on.
I give you that. I do like the sequencing, of course, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Arckatron, number 9.
Number 9.
Golden Arms Redemption.
Is gonna be the further adventures of Lord Quas. Quasimodo is making it to my top 10.
Yes.
Wow, Lord Quas made it.
Thank you, sir.
Hold on. Yeah, actually, no.
Shouts to Lord Quas, man.
It's just a dope record. Like, it's the most unique. It's 26 tracks. It's like I think it's like less than 50. It's like 40 minutes or something long. It's not even long, but it's just like this journey you go on with this character, and you have Madlib like playing like Madlib's the driver, Quaz is in the passenger just like wilding out, and Madlib is trying to like keep it steady. You know what I mean? And you have like
stay on the road, man.
Doom is in the back sometimes, lighting it up. You know, it's just this adventure you go on with these characters, and it's wild. It's trippy, and the beats are slamming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all slamming.
Madlib has the
and as I listen to it more, like Madlib's a pretty good rapper, man.
Yeah,
those raps are pretty good on that album, man.
Yeah, and the thing that upsets me about that album is that like the second I start hold on. The second I start like listening to a beat, like, oh man, this beat is crazy. It's like, all right, peace. Like next song, I'm like, no, hold up.
Yeah, this album is the album that I speak of.
One right there, man.
It's like I just started vibing to this. Don't go yet. But
I might.
I also understand kind of like due to the context of the album.
Freak out.
Yeah. So I understand due to the I guess the concept of the album, but yeah, that album is the beats on there crazy, and just the concepts are crazy, like the stories and stuff, and the adventures. They're crazy.
Adventures are adventuring.
So my number 9.
Let's go.
We all said it. Illmatic.
What? Hey,
can you believe it?
Ever since I heard that piano playing on the music video, I remember seeing the music video, and I heard that piano loop. I was done. That was it for me. The way the video was shot. The world is yours. So the way the video was shot.
Lie, Mike.
The beat.
That was what made me go out and get the album. Was that video?
Man,
so I feel you on that.
The beat, the way he was rhyming over it, everything. I was just like, yo, this is like incredible. And like that was also a very great time in hip hop. But I know just I'll let that go because I know there's different ages and stuff. They'll be like, that won't great.
Yeah. Everybody got their time. Everybody
got their time when they grew up. So, but that just, man, when I saw that music and just hearing that, like, it's yours, and just like it was just it. And then getting the album, and from the very beginning into the end, it's just dope beats. And the rhymes the beats are there, the rhymes are there.
Some of the best rhymes of all times.
Bruh, just nobody came slouching. Nobody. Well, I know Arckatron probably feels differently about, but everybody comes
not
to
anymore.
play.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I play it all.
This is joining now.
No skips no more.
The only thing that hurts me about listening to this album is knowing that there isn't a Nas AZ album somewhere out there that came, say, like 2 years after it. But hey,
that's a thought.
We have gotten a lot of great collaborations with him. So
yeah, we have. So because AZ is another one where I'm like, yo, AZ just the way
next mob, man. Mob. Yeah, I mean, they could have been the two, like they could have been CNN. You know what I mean, like two dudes.
CNN Channel 10.
They were a great duo.
Yeah, Channel 10, man.
It's not too late though.
Yeah. You know what? It's not too late because Nas just came out last year and was like, "Oh, so y'all thought I was done?" Yeah.
And then
for everybody that said I was done.
That full circle joint, the firm joint on King's Disease.
Mm-hmm.
AZ is kind of the hero of that. He has the best verse really on that one.
Yeah.
On the Lodo.
Yeah.
Right.
AZ's dope.
So
he got that good voice. His voice is great, man. He got a great voice.
Yeah. And just like the way he puts his words together, just like it's so just like very smooth and it's just like just continues to flow. It's not like a rapping, a bapping, a clapping, a slapping, a flapping, a tap. No, it's very smooth and very like it's almost on some player stuff.
You mean really the course on the floorboards and
the floorboards and the scoreboard? No, AZ is like very smooth and like
warlord
it's
of
like
the smorgasbord.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's definitely where I'm at for number 9, Illmatic. So number 8, Anwar, what you got?
I got Smith & Wesson, The Shining.
Okay.
Me and Arcka have been talking about this one.
I just listened for the first time like in my adult life last week. Yeah, go ahead.
This album started my love affair with Boot Camp Click. And like top to bottom, I think the album is fantastic. Like I think the synergy between Tech and Steel is amazing. They've got great features from Youngsta Rang, OGC, Helter Skelter pops up. Buckshot is lingering in the background. He give you a couple of singing hooks and whatnot. The beat might be clicking on all cylinders. The cover art is fire. I played this tape so much that my tape popped. And it was one of those tapes that didn't have screws. It was glue. It was all glue. I broke it to get access to fix it. Glued it back together, kept banging. I love this album to death. I think it's kind of the pinnacle album for a boot camp. Like I think this is like the best example of what the boot camp can do. And I love it to death. So that's my one.
Word up. All right, Arckatron.
We're gonna go real new on this one.
Okay.
Drag on.
Nah. The album starts with the D, but no.
Swizz Beatz' first album.
Iggy Azalea
first solo album.
This album is called Darn It, aka Damn. I'm putting Kendrick Lamar in my top 10 album ever. Album I can go from top to bottom that is getting better with
Let's
age.
go.
Like vintage wine right now.
It's not a bad album. It's not a bad album.
That people like, they
brother,
just like, oh, it's just, he just pulled the throttle back a little bit from To Pimp Butterfly. No, he went like this, but like smoothly went forward with it. Like so I'm most intrigued what he's gonna do next, like how I was intrigued with other artists and what they're gonna do next. Cause like, yo, every album is kind of different, but there's a through line. There's like, he has these characters he keeps mentioning, and he just throwing, like, it's like he's really playing with all the levels right now of songwriting. The beats are just different and slamming in their own way that fit his style, and he's all over the place. It's this guy's. If you just take the beat off, like, this guy's interesting on itself. Like, so I had to get one of his in my top. And I'm thinking like, yo, which one is, The Good Kid is great until you get to the end. It's like, okay, there's some things we don't need on this album.
Right.
It's a good,
that's wild. That's a wild statement.
It's a good 12 block of like where it starts, where you can tell, and the tape ends,
I know what you're talking about.
And then you talk about
on Compton?
The other songs. And I'm like, this is not needed right now. This is a great 12 block. And then my problem with The Pimp is, as a song we don't particularly care for. That's Complexion, if y'all didn't know. It's nothing that I like when the beat switches, but I don't like that original beat. It's kind of big.
Especially when you have like Untitled and Unmastered, and there's like, you had a bunch of other amazing songs.
This uppercut.
I get you.
Like serious songs.
I get you.
And then that one. Wow, that's a surprise pick. I thought about that album too, or something from him.
I needed something. I like things from different, like something always catches me every 10 years or 5 years. I'm like, this has to be on there. This is
fun. It's like you said yesterday, real quick. I didn't mean to quick, but real quick.
No, you good.
It's like me and Arcka were talking the other day, and he said something to the effect of like, even if it doesn't make the top 10, it's still in the top 20 for real. So it kind of doesn't.
Yeah. It was.
So if y'all don't, for those of y'all, like, listen, some of them albums that you feel like should be in the top 10, we probably felt like they should be in the top 10, but for whatever personal reasons, didn't put them in the top 10. But they're definitely in that 15 or that 20.
Yeah.
And they're definitely in current rotation and in rotation every year forever. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about nothing.
We got your favorite.
Don't you worry about
got you.
And speaking about that, I wrote down both those, the Darn album and the To Pimp album. But they're not in the top 10, but they're both like, because I'm like, yo, I can, like, because I'm someone who likes to buy an album, get in the car, put it in, and just go. And way gas prices is, maybe I'll just sit in the parking lot. But you know what I'm saying? But
you gotta push it to a hill, push it down a hill.
But I like to buy an album, put it in the car and ride to it and see how I feel. And both of those are strong. They didn't make it in the 10. That's one thing about making that 10. It's like, there's so many that's like you in the 10 to 20 range, but I definitely get you.
That 20 is hard to. That 20, like, of all times, like that's a hard list to make. So
Yeah. When you start talking about like your all time, it's like, oh man, but what about them and what about this and what it's tough. So number 8 for me, The Villain.
Little brother, The Minstrel Show.
Okay.
The Minstrel Show, which I actually do like, but not The Minstrel Show.
It was cool.
I like The Minstrel Show and The Listening, but they're not in top 10 level for me. I think they got some good songs. I like skits and stuff, but they're not in top 10.
we ain't gonna get it.
The Villain.
Bad Villainy.
The Villain. All right. That album with him just like staring at you, the beats, man, the beats, the way AZ is so smooth is Doom is similar in the way where he will catch you off guard. Would be like, hold on, let me rewind that real quick. Hold on, what do you say? like, cause Doom's way of rhyming is so, like, he'll end a rhyme like kind of halfway in another bar. It's very unique, and then these beats are crazy. It's just, that album is just, it's dope, man. And it came out of nowhere for me because I didn't know it. Like, it just, I remember hearing a track. I can't remember. Someone sent me one, and I was like, "Yo, what's this?" And they're like, "Oh, this came out today." And I'm like, "Hold on, what came out today?"
Yeah.
And then I went to a record store.
For me, Mad Villainy clicked
I missed that. I really missed that.
I think for me, Mad Villainy clicked when Doom clicked for me when I heard Mad Villainy. I heard some stuff before, but I'm like, yo, I'm not with it. I heard the joint, but I was like, no. But when I heard Mad Villainy, I was like, this is the right music for you. He
kind of killed it on Food, though. On the Food album, he kind of
I didn't hear it first. I heard Mad Villainy before Food, so I didn't even know about it. Because again, I heard like some stuff from like Operations Doomsday. Like I heard a little bit. But I was like, I don't know this.
Well, Mad Villainy was first. Food came out after anyway.
Yeah, it came out like maybe 6 months or something. It was close though. It was like maybe like 1 year and then like the next year, I think. Yeah.
It's so weird because it doesn't feel like it. And J-Lib came out real close
before all that. J-Lib came out in 03.
Was it before or after?
It's before all of it. Mad Villainy's 2004.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know. I was in college. I remember these years in college. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hold on.
That means, Mad Lib was on a roll. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my number 8, man. My number 8 is
that's a great number 8, man.
It's a great 8.
Great number 8, man.
It's not Food album. It's just it's incredible. Even the joints that even the joints that I didn't like at first, I ended up enjoying later. Cause there are some times when it kind of slows down and I'm like, oh man, we were like, all gas, no brakes kind of, but like now, I'm feeling the whole thing, man. Whole thing. So, number 7. And 1.
10, 9, 8. No, we don't. Wait, no, that was 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did 8. You did 8 too. You said
I've only said 2.
But you concurred with I think one of his one I said or he said.
I thought you did your 8 already.
I did not. I did Illmatic.
Yeah, because you did the Shine in
Illmatic.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, if it's close, if anyone
it's in a different order. I deviated from how I wrote it down. Went to just throw Illmatic.
Yeah. Well, I had Mad Villainy on my list too, but we'll get to that. But I was kind of we can skip past that. But I'll tell you where it is on my list. But I have it on. Like you have it on your list, you should be like, yo. But if it's close, mine's not close, so we'll get around to that, and I'll share my little opinion.
As we continue on, EPMD Strictly Business.
Ooh.
Okay, I knew there would be an EPMD sighting. Yes,
I mean,
I knew that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that for sure.
It wasn't like etched in stone or anything, but that Strictly Business album was one of the first hip hop albums that I got ever. And it just holds a very special place in my heart. It's kind of hard to explain. You kind of had to be there, but yeah, like it's top to bottom. I think it's just about flawless, man. And every time I need to, man, like, and just like at that time, they didn't sound like anything.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot of what was going on at that time was like a lot of James Brown samples, a lot of certain type of, and they came out the way they were rhyming, like the slow flow delivery, as they called it, with the chill, laid back delivery, the really heavy echoes, the more funky loops instead of, like it was definitely a vibe, and it definitely struck a chord because it kind of came out of nowhere. Like these guys just came out of nowhere, and then it was at a time when you could come out of nowhere, and if your stuff was fire, you would just catch on. And yeah, man, it was just a great album, and it still holds up for me. And anytime I need to kind of decompress, it's the type of album that I can go back to in times of trouble and feel, get a little grounded.
Word.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, numero 7. All right, Arckatron.
Soul Survivor, Pete Rock.
Let's get it. I didn't expect that.
Did not expect that. Even though I like that album, did not expect that.
I would more expect that from my list.
Yeah. Pete Rock was always a favorite of mine, since I heard his stuff. And when he kind of went solo, he he did Soul Survivor, but he worked with a lot of artists that I was already liking already. Yeah, you got Wu-Tang members all over this album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was
kind of like a loud. It was like a loud album.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So he had so it was perfect. Like Loud was clicking at that time. Like they were like
Kappa, Ghost.
Deck, Kappa, Ghost. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, Meth on it too.
Yeah, Meth is on there.
So it was great for me. Like you can hear him on Pete Rock beats because at the time, I think like the next year or two, he does a beat for Deck in the next year on Trouble Man. And then he does another one. He does one for Ray on Mobilarity, which I don't know why I said the album.
Which is the best song on the whole album.
The best song on that Sneak It.
Once again, when that song was made, I would have been like, okay, let's scrap everything and let's go in and form up around this one song.
Let me just go through your beats and put these songs to your beats instead.
Yeah. Like
the songs are good. The lyrics,
because the lyrics are fine. The Mobilarity's lyrics are fine.
Beats.
Yeah.
What a power play that would have been. That's a crazy what if.
So yeah, so for
Cuban
me,
links to my next album is totally produced by Pete Rock.
Yeah,
that would have been a power play.
Pete Rock was clicking. Pete Rock was really
at least for the hip hop heads like us.
Kind of like an apex for me. Like he was really high on the list. And yeah, just that album for me. I remember seeing the True Master video. I remember seeing the time. Like I remember it was like Rap City, The Basement with Tigger. You know what I mean? This was a different time, And hip hop, you had Rough Riders at the same time. Like Rough Riders, DMX is on fire right now. And Pete Rock dropped that album. I'm like, oh, okay, this is just a nod to this particular style that you came up with. And you just it was dope. It was definitely a hip hop album for the heads. And it still sounds great to this day. Like it still bangs out. So
man, no skips on that one.
And there's no skips. Initially,
I can't think of a song that's a skip for me on that.
But I'm like, it's worked. It all works now. It all flows really well. Like how it kind of take a little break, a little rap break. You know what I mean? In the middle. Yeah. And then you come back with this.
Then at the end, I splash you with a little bit of dance at the end. Dance hall, party fanatic Colonel at the end.
Yep.
Get cousin on Heavy D. R.I.P.
He's going crazy on that.
Yeah. So, and you got Dirty on it too. Don't forget Dirty's on that album too.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
R.I.P. Dirty too. Dirty Dog.
The red-nosed reindeer.
That album definitely. See, I had to go listen back to that again. That's another one. That's another one where I played the CD till it was scratched up and went and bought another one. Like that's another one of those where
I actually need to get that on CD sometime.
Like scratched it all out
now. I still got my OG CD. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stay in the case.
I bought it on cassette back in the day.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
like a lot of I should have just got all of that stuff on CD.
Well, I remember getting Pun's tape because it came in like a cigarette box. And I remember that. Because it was kind of like a novelty thing.
Oh, wow.
So I bought the CD and the tape. Because I remember being like, oh, this is kind of cool. All right, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? So I remember that.
It was a strange little like pocket. They only did that for like 1 or 2 years, really.
That was cool. I mean, not that Big Pun is or isn't on my list. Y'all don't know yet, but just saying that, I thought that was cool. All right, so number 7 for me. See, there's a name of a little group you might have heard of. Slum Village.
The Click.
Volume 2.
Okay.
So
Volume 2. Okay.
So I'm watching BET.
Consider that one too.
So I'm watching BET, and this beat comes on, and it's Slum Village. It's their hit single or their open single, the climax. So I'm like, okay, cool. This beat is dope. This is on point. Who are these people? Then at the end they flip it to the Players beat, and I was like, so when do I get it? I was like, because man, Players is, well, we know it's Claire, but it's when the way
it's the 788.
All right, we already know Dilla's everything, so it's like this. Sorry, but the climax beat is already crazy, and then when they flip it to Players, I was just like, yo, hold up, who is this? And those were the days where I ain't going front. You would see something on TV or hear it from a friend and then call another friend like, yo, have you heard of this? Like, I mean, now it's a little easier because you just open up the chat and just send a link or whatever. But
man,
it was just a different feeling.
Ain't nobody know about Slum Village around me back in the days. I had nobody. I was with Dilla alone. Like, just me, Dilla, and the beats banging. That's just what it was.
Well, because I didn't know, like, then that's when I was like, okay, JD. Then I started connecting the line like, oh, he made this. Okay, cool. He made that. Oh, all right. So this is because see, I also love Busta Rhymes. So like once I start connecting, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like then everything starts to come, and then like the Uma, and I was like, oh, okay. So all of that started connecting. But yeah, that volume 2, I have no quarrels with that. And depending on there's like 8 versions of volume 2. But
oh yeah, it's like 2.1,
yeah, I wish there wasn't 2 versions of it.
2.10. Like it's like what?
Yeah. So the only one I know of is the one that I had the record. Like I bought the record. It's probably still in Virginia somewhere in a closet or something. But I like that album version is the one I know of. I know there's other versions, and then volume 1, don't sleep. But volume 2. Like that thing it really opened my eyes. And I think that was them just like at a very dope point in their career. And No Pop Man, The Look of Love, like Climax, Players.
Yeah, the updated version too. Like
Raise It Up.
Look of Love. Oh, that's on volume 1. I think that's
volume
1.
Well, they do a little like interlude with that on volume 2. At least from what I got. Really? There's like a little interlude of sorry. You Know What Love Is. Sorry. So they don't do the it's like a slightly different one. But yeah, the one that I have has like
you thinking of Fall in Love?
Yeah, Fall in Love is on there, but they do like a little like it's like a weird interpolated version of A Look of Love on volume 1, on volume 2. At least for the album that I got. But then once again,
which when you listen to one of the points, is yours 0.1?
Was it
2.1?
Was it the remix that they had that it was a whole different beat and everything in it?
I'm gonna have to look because I have the album. So whatever they released, I guess at that time, unless they remastered it or whatever, that's the version I got. But
there's a bunch of versions out there floating around.
Raise It Up. Raise It Up's another one. Man, that I ain't about not me, dog.
Yeah,
I ain't the man, JD.
That's probably the first song I heard.
Oh,
and then I heard that and Climax is like around the same time.
Man, like that.
Those 2 songs were the 2 songs
that
I
album
heard.
Comes through, man. And then it's good to see the update on Yes when things kind of come full circle for them. But yeah, that volume 2, that does it.
I think the first Slum Village song I heard was I Don't Know.
Ooh,
Good one
yeah.
Because
I
my bro
remember.
had it on. He had it on vinyl, and we were bugging out because we hadn't heard a song like that where they were rhyming and then cutting in the James Brown sample. You know.
Now I gotta think. When did I hear that? Because I remember hearing that on a Beat Junkies mixtape. And so I don't know. I don't know when I heard that or not. But I remember that.
You know, you like to
Yep.
to get with me so we could
Yo, that joke is so perfect.
We had not heard anything like that. And then the beat was so slick and it just was knocking, but it was super smooth. And we were it was they would have won.
And then it was like the chorus was kind of funny, but then you also got it.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's been in that situation before where it's like, man, I don't know why. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've all kind of been in that situation before.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Why
No, it's I don't know why. I don't know. Oh man, yeah.
Right.
Great album. Great album.
On to number 6. What you got, N1?
Right. I got another one that I have a couple on here that will be super duper unique to me. This is one such one. Black Sheep, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing.
Ooh.
Okay. I've actually listened to this album, top to bottom. We did it for our show, I think. But did we do it, Mike? Did we do Black Sheep one of the shows?
Did we?
Like 3 years ago we did. We did maybe 19 or early 19.
Yeah, we might have. But yeah, Black Sheep, they got some jams. So yeah.
It's a good joint. It's a good album.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
And it was very different for its time. The production at its time was fantastic. You know, there were a lot of layers and whatnot flying around, and that's the way hip hop was being made at the time. It was a lot of layers, but Mr. Long's choices, his production choices, his sample choices were not like anyone's choices. So it just gave the album a really, really unique zone. And then, the album's super funny, super charismatic. It's a blast to listen to, just top to bottom. It's just such a fun album to listen to. The raps are good, raps are catchy as hell.
Strobe Light Honeys.
Strobe Light Honey, man. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm trying to think. Can I remember the lyrics to that? I just remember it's like I gotta go.
Say yo, what's your number? 765-4321. What's the area code? 1900.
Oh man,
great album,
he was like,
man.
anyway, I'm out. I gotta be. I got to step with the viscosity.
With the viscosity.
Yo.
You had such standouts. Obviously the choice is yours, but
choice is yours.
Like you said, Strobe Light Honey. You got Similac Child is an amazing standout. It just has Have You Any
Strobe Light Honeys would not work now. That would not. They'd be about to cancel that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on that album that they could get canceled for. But I mean, there's this sort of because they're playing characters and it's obvious that they're playing characters. So that, but the world kind of sucks that way now. So yes, I agree.
Yeah. but Strobe Light Honeys is still a jam. It's still a jam, and it's funny because there was a very specific time in New York where things were changing and things were happening, and it was a very good statement about club culture at that time in New York. I'll leave it at that.
And it had a great range of topics and pockets that they went into. It just was, you had Q-Tip was on there. You had this strange native tongues connection because they weren't like the rest of the native tongues. It was super dope. It was super dope. And they start the album with this super wild intro. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, then I hit you with like the smooth knocking joints, man. The drums going crazy. It's fire, man. It's a great album.
All right, that's what's up.
I'd recommend it if any of you have not heard it.
It's got some jams on there. All right, Arckatron, number 6.
Well, number 6, y'all, is Cuban Links.
Ooh.
Hey.
It is the one.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
because this was only built for Cuban. We told you on the last album, man. It's only built for Cuban Links.
I feel like it's the crown jewel of the Wu-Tang solos that it's like top to bottom invincible. You know, like it's one of those albums that like set off a lot of like Ray said, like it set off a lot of actions, and everybody started changing the name to whatever. It was
everybody want to change their name
out. Yeah, but it's one of those albums for me. I would just remember like
why you can't shine on your own.
Seeing Glaciers of the Ice, seeing those videos back in the days, it's like, what is this is something. This is wild. This is dope. Like I was like 10 when this was out. Like I was 10 years old when Cuban Links came out. So, but I was still feeling the vibe at 10 years old. And I'm like, yo, this is dope. This is dope. Because my brother was playing music. He was playing stuff from the early 90s. So I would hear stuff, but like, this is the one thing that like drew me in, And I already heard, 36 Chambers and all that stuff. But this is the one solo that I couldn't shake, And this is the one for me of the solos. I'm like, yeah, this one has to be on there. It's a no skippable. This is straight fire, top to bottom. Ray's killing it. Ghost.
Kind of crazy. It's like the weakest
re-emerging of Ghost.
The weakest song on the album still isn't a skip.
Yeah, I don't even know what the weakest song on it is.
To me,
what would you say?
Funny to me. This is funny to say because I actually love this song, and it was an early favorite, and it's always endured. But Spot Rushers, to me, production-wise, is the tamest song on the album.
I love Spot Rushers.
So do I. That's what I'm saying. Like, even the technically weakest song, because like Spot Rushers is like production-wise is pretty plain. It's pretty straightforward, rather. Let me not say plain, but it's pretty straightforward. And but it's just a cool song. The story is fire. The way the sequence where it lands in the album is fire. Like it's just great. But I mean, with a record that has guillotines and glaciers of ice and ice cream and
verbal
terminology and like verbal intercourse and ice water and
incarcerated Scarfaces.
Scarfaces. Like you could just run it down.
Gambinos. You can just keep going.
Gambinos. Like you just like it's among very, very stiff competition.
Rainy days. Like
rainy days.
Knucklehead. What do you want? Like
get rich, son.
Acknowledge God, man. Like what
what
I mean?
Like,
and I'll say this. It pained me to not put this in my top 10 because it was in my top 10, then it was out my top 10, then it was back in my top 10.
Okay.
Then it was out, like, because, man, I love this.
It depends on what you got in your top 10. I can understand it because I'll tell you this, y'all. This was a late entry. We'll just say that.
This was an early entry for me.
I think, like this morning, I changed it. I'm like, yo, Cuba. I gotta get Cuban Links in there. It's the non-skippable one for me. This is the one Wu joint that I don't have to skip. I just play straight through. Liquid Swords was close, but
I feel that.
I had to give it to. I had to give it to Ray.
It gets the edge. I definitely feel that.
Yeah, like mine for me.
And it's more songs too that are so like by volume is by my criteria it's the one. Yeah.
Yo, this. Cuban Links is, man, and I love Spot Rushers. And the skits as well is like all Wu skits.
Amazing.
All Wu skits are just like, you know what I'm saying? They're very Wu.
Can you hear me? Yeah, that's the joint. Yeah, but all the joints is the joint. So,
let's see.
Feel me?
For me,
Storytelling rap Magellan.
I ain't, man. Come on,
Mike ran in the spot for selling.
Yeah. Man, that's my man. That's my man too. Call him up on like, man.
Went to the woo.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, I'm buying you an Lexus.
I'm buying you a Lex. No time for weed plus no time to get knocked.
Nah, Ray was
bro.
busting. Ray was.
That album is just that album is just.
To me, it's a perfect hip hop album. It's perfect. It's
Links
perfect.
is because, like I said, it was early. Like when I first started thinking, it was like maybe the first or second album I thought about. Then I started adding more and more albums. I was like, all right, maybe it's out. I'm like, nah, it's in. Then I was just like, tag. It's like number 11. No, it's like number 6. Then I just kept going. Look, Ray, we are not beefing. Ray, you and look.
Who took Ray's spot, man?
Who's up next? Who's up next, yo? Mike,
so
next for your 6?
Next for me, number 6. Even though we just finished talking about them a while ago, Blackstar. This is Blackstar when they were worth listening to. Now, I can't say worth. I don't know what the new album sounds like. I have no idea. But
worth listening to. Wow, that's the flamethrower.
I say that because Quali is whacking his raps and he's whacking person. So that's like 2 whacks to put together. You know what I'm saying? Like say if he was a dope rapper, but he was just kind of whacking person every one thing. But he seems to have found his home on podcasting. So I mean, like him and Joe Budden, you know what I'm saying? They do anything, you know. So it's cool. But Blackstar is an album that at the time where I was personally, and then when this came out, it was just like a great place for me to be, you know, like, you know, asking what is black, you know, saying what is black, brown skinned woman, definition, redefinition.
The first track, yo, beat minus.
It's by the beat minus.
Yeah. What is the black, y'all?
No
blacker than the middle of my eye.
You know, respiration, and the remix to respiration.
All right, I have a confession.
All right.
Like
you just mentioned probably for me, like if it was a top song, Respiration is in my top song of all time because
Respiration is
that beat is magnificent, man. Like that beat, like it's
all right.
It's one of my favorite high tech beats of all time. That's it.
So all right,
that's
peep
the
this.
one.
Respiration. I love Respiration so much. I wrote a paper on it. I'm in school, and one of my teachers, I had an English teacher that made like a sly comment about hip hop and how, you know, like they don't even know how to speak or some kind of racist kind of stuff.
As they do.
As they do.
The usual.
So I was like, whoa. I was like, hip hop. Now I know probably his representation of hip hop probably ain't the best. Because at that time, we're talking about 98? So we do have, you know what I'm saying? We have a plethora of examples of hip hop to say that hip hop is nothing but nonsense. But I was like, whoa. I was like, I can't let you do that. That's not what hip hop is about. Hip hop is also poetry. It's beautiful words. It's great music that come together to mean something. So he said, well, give me one example. He said, give me one example and write a paper. And I said,
he basically handed you a ball.
Yes.
And lifted you up to the basket and then said, slam dunk it for $100.
So I said, okay. I said, can I present it? He said, yes, tomorrow. I said, no problem. I went home. I wrote down the lyrics to Respiration. I broke down what they meant, what it means at this time, what it's meant historically. I had like a 5-page paper on this joint and did a presentation. And I was like, that's why hip hop is still very necessary for people that need to be able to have their voices heard, blah, 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 going on and on. But like Respiration, and then I was like, and Don't Sleep, there's also a remix that's just as good.
Rock remix.
Yo, so yeah, don't
flying high
remix. Or
yeah.
do you mean the Dr. Luke remix?
The doctor.
No,
I'm serious.
I've never heard of that.
There was 2 remixes.
What?
Yeah, I got the
max. I got the single.
It's not Luke Skywalker. It's not
Luke Skywalker.
I don't know who. I don't really know much of Dr. Luke's production discography, but they had the Pete Rock mix and they had the Dr. Luke mix.
I don't know about Dr. Luke mix. I don't know about Luke right now.
And Black Thought is on the Pete Rock remix. So
yes.
So yeah,
Pete Rock remix is amazing and features Black Thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
which like you can't. What more could you ask for?
Come on, man. Come on.
Got the first version, classic, features Common. Remix
sense.
Classic Pete Rock and Soul Survivor time frame.
Yep.
Featuring Black Thought.
Bruh.
98. What more could you ask for, man?
At this time, so to give you guys an idea, at this time, I'm a 98. I graduated in 2000, so I'm probably a junior. So a junior or maybe rising sophomore, something like that. Whatever. No, I was a junior because they switched districts. So cool. All right, I'm a junior. So I'm reading at this time, I'm starting to read certain books that align with stuff like this. So I'm reading Miseducation of the Negro, Message to the Black Man, From Ends to Gods. I'm reading certain books that also put me in a certain mindset. I'm starting to become more politically active in my locality, stuff like that. So respiration, stuff like that was just like right down, like it was a line drive for me at that time. And that
whole album, that whole Blackstar movement was it changed me it just changed me.
Yeah, so
it was a great time and a great record.
Yeah. So anyway, numero 5.
All right.
Oh man.
All right.
Mr. Highside.
I will continue. I'll piggyback again. Ray, Cuban Links is also on my list.
Okay.
I've been listening to this record a whole lot lately. And just like picking it apart. I recently also, y'all know this already, but I recently peeped the Ray book, From Staircase to Stage, which contains an excellent long section about the making of Cuban Links, which for any Wu fan is an absolute joy.
Please tell me there's an audiobook version where he reads the book.
There is an audiobook version. That's what I had, but he does not read the book. Yeah, I know. But the person reading the book,
he's gonna add in extra stuff. Be like, yeah, son, that's when I had the blue wallaby suedes, right? So
there's a weird part in the audio version because like the guy reading it, like once I was thrown off by that, and it took me a little bit to just like accept that it wasn't him reading it.
Yeah.
But the guy does a good job,
though.
It's not Ray, but the guy does a good job. But there are these weird sections at the end of every chapter where his son asks him a question about something pertaining to the chapter, asks him to expound on something from the chapter, and then Ray pops in to like answer the question and expound. But it's like weird. Very strange. It kind of breaks the flow of the album. But I mean, I guess it's cool that they have it in there. But yeah, like if you're a Cuban Links fan and a Wu fan, you will definitely want to check it out for that part alone.
Yeah. I gotta check.
But aside from that, I agree with Arcka. Like the peak of the Wu, representation, the peak of the Wu invincibility frames. They had like all of the iframes at this time. Yep. They had unblockables. They had infinite combos. Like it
they
was
were
just
plus
like
on
they
block.
were just like they were plus on block. They were destroying every opponent. And like Cuban Links is like for the gamers out there. Cuban Links is like the famous Evo clip where who was it? Mike. Was
Daigo
it,
when Daigo parried
Daigo that blocks
Justin Wong.
that parries the chunk.
Yeah.
The third strike.
The third strike. Like, yeah, Chung Li. Yeah.
Cuban Links. That's Cuban Links.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing, top to bottom. And the more I listen to it and study it, both as a fan and as, you know, a former musician, it's just flawless. It's just flawless. And I love it to death, and I will play it for the rest of my days.
Facts.
All right, Arckatron.
Facts. We already talked about it. Mad Villainy is my number 5.
All right.
Just one of those albums that it locked me into both. Well, J-Lib introduced me to Madlib, and Mad Villainy introduced me to the Doom that I began to like. This was like my first, like, oh, this is dope. These beats are dope. He sounds dope over this. Madlib is killing it because Madlib was dropping like 4 albums like in like 2 years span. You had like J-Lib, you had the instrumental albums he dropped, then you had Mad Villainy, then you had Further Adventures in 05. Like he was just like bah, 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 bah. So this may be,
he was in the lab heavy.
This might be prime Madlib for me too, like prime Madlib and prime Doom just for me, like Doom Prime and Madlib Prime. You know what I mean? If you want to go with that kind of terminology. But I feel that like this was like it for me for both of them, and it just no skips, like top to bottom. I'm not skipping it. I'm not even skipping the Jack track. You know, the joint with Wild Child. I ain't even skipping it. It's dope because like I'm like, yo, Doom should have was supposed to rap on this, but he didn't rap on it. I don't know matter because it's already on to the next song. It's so just like a little break.
So what you're saying is, for MCU fans at this time, Madlib had the gauntlet. All stones.
Yeah, he definitely was. He
had the stones.
He had all
stones. He was definitely Thanos.
Yeah, he was definitely Thanos right now.
On the low though.
On the low, yeah, on the very real low. Because like, unless you were tapped into Stone's Throw and what they were throwing out, stones they were throwing out, you wasn't catching it. You were catching it like way on the back play, like on the internet. Oh, let me check it. I was there. I was going to the record stores and I was getting like these albums that had like sometime a little trinket with it, a little something with it, and you would get the album and you would get this too. Like it was crazy the stuff they were doing, like the marketing and like how they were getting the word out. The show, they used to come to Philly back in the days. They did like two shows over there on like Starlight, over there on like Spring Garden. Like, so I was there.
I didn't know
when
you at
these
that
things
time.
were happening.
It was like a
couple years before we met. It was a couple years before we met, man. But yeah, it was crazy, man. So like, it was just dope that like Doom came aboard for this particular album, and you know, like just hearing all the stories about it, and then like the whole big thing about Mad Villainy 2, and now since Doom's passed, I don't think we're gonna get it. And you know what? I don't think I want it, unless they're ready to give it. If they don't give it, I don't want it.
If what? Say that.
I just don't want. Unless they're ready to, unless they're giving it like willing, like yo, we're gonna. I don't want it then, because it's not both of them turning their key and saying, "Here's the product." If they both ain't turning the key, and we know Madlib ain't gonna turn the key by himself, so
I only want it if Madlib turns the key.
There we have.
Because I feel like Madlib is a person who can speak for Doom in his absence and say, "All right, this is something that he would have been comfortable with." Or
I feel the same thing about
especially after
Madlib's like, "Yo, Dilla would have wanted y'all to hear this 10 years after his passing." You know what I mean? This was the plan. And he turned the key.
I would trust his judgment on it. If he says,
throw it out, I'm with it.
They would be cool with it, then I'm with it.
Madlib presents the you know, like something they were doing. Yesterday's New Quintet meets whatever JD, you know, his group or whatever. They were doing jazz albums together and stuff like that. He talks about, you know, on the Red Bull interviews and stuff. So, but Either way, Madeline higher. My number 5, sealed and signed.
All right, so my number 5,
delivered, of course.
My number 5 comes from an artist whose first 3 albums are all fuego. All right.
Wait, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you already know. I mean, and not that the albums after that are like straight trash, but the first 3. And I had to pick one because I can't put all 3 in the top 10. It's just not fair. So
I know who you're talking about though.
Busta Rhymes,
man
When Disaster Strikes.
Who that?
Of course it's Bust. I knew it was Bust. It had to be Bust.
Busta Rhymes, my top MC. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
Busta Rhymes, When Disaster Strikes.
Hey,
it speaks for itself. Depending on your age,
good one.
You weren't there, but if depending on your age, when that joint like, okay, so
it shook the earth when it dropped.
Okay, so you got to understand, Busta comes out. You see him on Scenario because he was already with I can't think of the name of the group now. Charlie Brown.
LONS.
Yeah, LONS. So he does the remix. The Scenario, and he's on there, and people are like, oh snap,
and the remix as well.
And the remix of the remix. So it's like, oh snap. Then he comes out with the Coming, which has, of course, Woo Ha. So then you get other remixes like Flavor in Your Ear, stuff like that. People killing it, he's loving it. But when he comes, because at this time there's a sophomore curse that they say. There's a sophomore curse whenever, sophomore album, sophomore jinx, yeah. Sophomore jinx, it's not going to be as good as the first. It's you're not going to have the skills. It's going to slump. This, that, and the third. And they said that about pretty much every artist, right? So he kind of covers that in the intro, kind of like, yo, this is your second album. Like, you can't be playing around. Like you got to come with it. And this is when he has Dolomite come through.
Dolomite.
So
yes, sir.
So the album comes on with The Whole World Looking at Me, which is a crazy beat, crazy rhymes, letting you know the lyrics are still there, the beat selection is still there. But for his singles, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Now, depending on your age, you weren't there, and I understand. But when this joint dropped, you could be at anywhere. You put them, doom. It was over. It was done. It was over. Then
and it was so different for him.
Yes.
It cannot be overstated how much of a curveball that song was for Bus and his trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy that was like, we all loved him. We all thought he was super dope, but he was not a quiet guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was like, yeah, rah, rah. Like,
rap shit up.
So for him to throw it in a different gear so effortlessly, it was it was so out of left field that it snapped everybody's attention instantaneously.
Bruh.
Yeah, I think this is one of his biggest songs, I would say.
When Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See came out, that was it. It was it.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Go down the line. You got to talk about the singles, man. Go down the line, man.
Dangerous is another one. And then the music videos too. So what was it? Was it Lil X was doing Hype Williams was doing the video.
Yeah, Hype did. I think
Hype was doing all his videos, which was crazy visual.
Yeah.
And then to have crazy visuals, similar to Missy with doing her crazy visuals with crazy lyrics and crazy beats. So it's like all of this is just like the eye candy, the audio candy, just all of it was just overload for Busta. And Dangerous comes out and he takes kind of like a nursery rhyme and then flips it into like, this is serious. We can. It's crazy. And even listening to it now, you're like, it's just.
And then like the Lethal Weapon video, like that was
crazy, the Lethal Weapon video is, man.
He's like hanging on the car, rhyming. Crazy, man.
So the video is crazy.
Coming
the
to
lyrics are
America.
the Coming to America for
Yo, that was amazing, yo. He had a whole. He's running from an elephant.
Yeah, it's like and he has the tusk in his hand. He's like,
man, like it was incredible. Yeah,
wow, I didn't even realize that's what was in his hand. What he was doing? I didn't even realize
nothing was
that.
touching it.
That was
Nothing.
That was a tusk in his hand. I just thought he had like a piece of paper, so I never really like peeked what he actually had in his hand.
Yo, because I remember
new every day,
and I knew it was crazy because. Yep. Yeah, and I knew it was crazy because like around my way they were playing it, in the hood they were playing it, but then when I saw him perform it on MTV in front of like an ocean of white people, and when I saw them go crazy, I was like, it's over. Like this, he's a household name now. It's over. Because I knew that we was loving it. But then to see, I was like, oh yeah, it's over. Like Soccer Mom is gonna be like, have you heard the new Busta Rhymes track? I heard it's all right. Like it's gonna be that's what. And
it's funny. It's funny because the sample is like Seals and Cross, who like two white dudes basically. It's so funny that like that's the track that the sample because the track is fire. I know because y'all, I'm a Seals and Cross fan. That's why I know this information. I have this record. I have all their records actually. I think, but it's just one of those things that I just like their music. It's just a connection we have, you know what I mean, from day one. But the sample is Seals and Cross, and it's like it's a dope song anyway. But the way they flip it is dope. There's drums and everything, kind of get that like. It was exact. I forgot who even produced it. It's not even like a producer we say off tops when we talk about.
Yeah, it wasn't somebody that we. Yeah,
I forgot what his name. On the track, he's a guy saying. I think this is. I think that's him. Oh, but that's as much as I know. I'm sorry.
I think it is.
But and then to add in the makes show how crazy it is. That story from Bill Bellamy when he was working on for MTV, he talked about this time when Coolio was somewhere and Busta was there, and they were supposed to perform, but they wanted to make Busta go first because Coolio had the big hit, Gangsta's Paradise.
Gangsta's Paradise.
So and Bill Bellamy said he told him, hey, have Coolio go first because Busta is going to be better if Busta goes last. So they didn't listen to him because they were like, well, the numbers say and Coolio has a bigger hit and blah. So he was like, all right, cool. He said Busta goes on there, tears it down. Shuts it down. To the point where after he gets off stage, people just start leaving because they assume it's the end. And he said Coolio had to come on stage and be like, hold up, guys, like it's not over kind of thing. Like that's wow. I'm telling you, because when I was performing, there were like certain people that I looked at, like, and Busta Rhymes was one of those people where I'm like, yo, this guy is performing. He's not just standing in the middle of the stage holding his stuff. He's actually performing. He's giving energy. He's over here, he's over there. He's jumping up and down. He's changing his voice inflection. He's doing things. You know what I'm saying? You're getting your money's worth. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I understand. I can see people leaving and then being like, oh, Coolio's here? Oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that Gangsta Paradise was not a big song. It was. But there's an energy level. And Bill Bellamy knew the streets. He was like, yo, look, I'm telling you, like, the streets is like, Coolio, oh, yeah, that's a nice song. But, like, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See is like, it's just a different energy, man.
Different energy, man.
It's different.
Yeah. And it's a different move, man.
So, yeah, that's for me. When disaster strikes, that is the jam.
Man. He said, respect the jokes.
Yeah.
I'm taking this set over.
He said him and Spliff got on stage and it was over. And he said he was just standing backstage like, I told y'all. Like,
I told y'all.
Wow. So, number 4. All right. Number 4. What we got? All right.
Sorry. After we do our 4, like maybe our top 3 might be kind of similar. Maybe we could just do like whatever our last 3 is. Our last 3, and then like we just do like we name our top 3, and then maybe we because like time is ticking, bro.
I got you.
But it's all.
You want to do the top four that way?
No, we got like another
MC
15.
Light,
15.
MC Light, Act Like You Know.
Okay.
Ooh, I cool.
MC Light is extremely influential for me, and that was a record that was sort of like at the height of my, being enamored with Light. Like that was when I'm like fully a hip hop fan now. And I'm getting tapes and like, this is my thing now. Like I'm a hip hopper now. And, that album comes out. I'm still a kid, but like that album comes out and it's a strange album because it comes on a lot softer at first, and then like it gradually gets like way harder, but it has like so many classic moments, and it's got Poor Georgie on there, and yeah, man, like it's just an album that personally means a lot to me. So, it ain't nothing too deep with that one. I love Light. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Light to death. And,
sure you do.
You know what I mean? I do. I'm in love with Light forever and ever. She is my favorite, and I hope I get to meet her one day.
Word.
She's
Right.
okay. She's super fly.
Okay. All
right.
right.
Arckatron.
What number we on? 4? Ooh.
Yep.
Jesus just rose again.
Uh-oh.
I am putting Jesus in my 4th slot.
I'm surprised, but not surprised.
Jesus. Out of all of his albums.
Bro,
Jesus. All right.
where you are right now is where we heard it. That's it.
Correct. We heard it
the
for
first
the
time
first
I heard it, I was
together
in the
in
spot
this very
260.
basement. In the spot 260, man.
That's where I was.
Yeah, man. That's seared
Jesus,
into my brain, yo. Like that album
Forever.
messed us up when we first heard it.
forever. All right, so
And ever and ever.
that's one of the reasons that moment is a nostalgia moment for us, of us hearing for the first time together.
Yeah, bro.
And being blown away, and like, yeah, he did it. And for musically, it was like, wow, like you didn't think he can go any higher than, Beautiful Twisted Fantasy, which is like he's coming off and be like, oh, he's gonna just phone it in now. He's good now. He dropped the
Coasting. He's coasting now.
Yeah, because I will say that even I said Twisted is his last joint, and then you said Jesus, and I was like, died. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, man, he ain't did nothing dope since Twisted. And you was like, about Jesus, and I was just like,
yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Okay.
That marketing plan was me.
It's 10 songs. It's nice. It's a round number. And each song is like this own like thing, and then the sonics as he was working with the amount of people that worked on it,
top of
like,
each other, man.
It
just builds and builds and builds.
All hands on deck production that he was starting to even do even more at the time. Mike Dean is great on this album. Like certain, like the engineers, the people just fire in this, and then there's no real features really on this album. It's just Kanye. Like real features was like, yo, this is featuring
nobody really rapping. Yeah.
Nobody really rapping. So this one is like, it's a self-contained, it's like a solo album, truly in rhyme form. I mean, you got like what's his name? Send It Up. What's his name? He's doing the hook and stuff. You have
Lewiz.
Chief Keef, but nobody really doing a verse like that on his joint, which is dope too. To kind of be like that.
And it was also like this proof that like he had a special penchant for applying people to his music. Like when I saw the track list and I was like Chief Keef, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Not that I had any like extreme distaste for Chief Keef. I just didn't see how it fit together. And then I heard it and I was like, wow. My ninja, wow. Like, how did you do this? How did you make this work? So like, this is incredible. Yes, it's a phenomenal record. And it's so polarizing, man.
Yeah.
And I think I actually
you either love it or you
kind of like that about the album. That people have that, like, yo, I love it, I hate it.
It makes a decision. It makes the decision.
I wish I could,
like it's either like there's no splitting hairs with this. You either like
make the decision for you.
Yeah.
It's
I kind of wish I could. Like you wish you could like born the science to people. Like, I wish I could like touch your shoulder and Vulcan mind meld so you can understand why it's amazing. But yeah, like some people just
because even in the chat, people are surprised. Yeezus, Antoine Allen, Shango Zulu, both of them are like, whoa, Yeezus?
Yeah, you wowzers, exactly. Now don't be giving me the face. No, this is my personal list. Y'all know the deal.
All right, so
I'm seeing y'all in the chat over here. Y'all keep looking over here. I'm looking y'all in the chat.
All right, so
yeah,
my number 4.
What's your 4?
Oh no, I thought. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. What's your 4? What's your 4?
Number 4.
Get it.
Common, Light Water for Chocolate.
Okay.
I knew it when you said that earlier. I was like, "This is Light Water for Chocolate."
Yeah, I had it revolving in my top 20.
I don't think there's a skip on there. And a song that due to its tempo I used to skip all the time is maybe now my favorite song, which is Ghetto Heaven with D'Angelo.
Okay, I can see that.
Because I'm like, we have all this energy, and then it's like, all right, let's slow it down for D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Everybody, put your hands together for D'Angelo. And shouts out. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, so shouts to VA, D'Angelo in the house. Right? So, but now I love that. I love that song, and I just love how it's like, it's so smooth, so well put together. Thelonious, Nag Champa, the questions. It's flames. And it's so Quarians at a point where it's like Dilla and Common and Mos and Questlove and like Jill and Arcka, just everybody's just like everybody's on fire.
Everybody was clicking.
I really wish that we could have gotten a Parliament Funkadelic-ish type of album out of that collective real quick before they stopped. I mean, well, they didn't stop. They just weren't as closely related.
It was the time. You know what I mean? A couple years.
They kind of did stop and just.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because they didn't stop making music, but they weren't as cohesive as they used to be, I guess.
Really together like they used to be.
But that man, that album, that and Things Fall Apart. Another point in my life where I was just like, they right on the nose, hit it perfectly for me. So the album is dope. And extra fire. Yes.
Right.
Extra
love
flavor.
Common, man.
So
we have a lot of love for Common on this show.
Yeah, so shouts out to the final 3 track. I mean the final 3.
Final 3.
Everybody, the top 3.
Cast your votes in right now. Cast them in.
All right, so
cast them in.
Yo, I love that. So, NY, give us your top 3
We might have to
albums.
keep that on deck. All right, top 3 in no particular order. De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising.
Okay.
A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory.
Ooh.
Wu-Tang Clan, Into the 36 Chambers.
Okay. All right.
Any special words for those 3?
Well, the De La, again, like another album that came out in my youth. Very formative album for me.
Yes.
And like beyond that, it's kind of, like it's like Mike said, like you kind of maybe you had to be there, maybe you weren't outside. I wasn't even outside for real, but it was just like a watershed moment in hip hop. It was another moment where a group of people came in and did something that was entirely against the grain, against the sound that was happening at the time, and shifted the culture with it. And yeah, like it's a great album to study for any hip hop fan, or any De La fan, any Prince Paul fan, any hip hop fan in general. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. It would be ridiculous at this point if I needed to explain that to any of y'all looking at this. Because most of y'all tap in with us every show, so y'all already know where that's coming from. It's gonna be the Wu. For.
Yeah,
it's going to be the Wu. Period.
It's going to be the Wu. A Wu for you, for you, and you. This goes out to you. The Wu
goes out to you. So they're gonna be my guy. I get it. They've disappointed us a lot, especially me and Arcka in these years. Like, we've been disappointed a lot. We've been let down at times, but I don't know how you feel, Arcka, but for me, those are my guys until the sun burn out. There's 36 Chambers, so that's that. And then Tribe Called Quest, it was kind of hard because I knew I wanted Tribe in here, but we're choosing between Low End and Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Low End and Midnight.
Yeah.
And like either one could go on any given day. Like, to tell you the truth, this list, I never had to complete a top 10. I had to complete one for the show. Yeah. So I'm not even like, this is the prototype top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could come back to it like a year from now, see if anything's changed or anything. Like, it's a wrap-up show.
Theory, exactly. Like that Low End Theory record, it was just like Tribe going. It's basically a Tribe Called Quest Infamous, or Tribe Called Quest The Score. Like, it's an album where it's like, y'all came out, y'all had a solid first outing, but y'all then were like, yo, wait a minute, like, we're not getting the respect we deserve. Whatever was the impetus for it, everybody turned Super Saiyan on that album. And they knocked it out of the park. It hit somebody's windshield in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So, like, Midnight is obviously like an untouchable, invincible classic, but Low End was the first time they did it.
Okay.
All right, Arckatron.
That's what I got.
Well, we have one of the same top, just last three or whatever. My number 3 is Fantastic Volume 2, which we already talked about, but this is the Dilla album that I have on my list, sir, if you were wondering.
Yes, sir.
Because you asked me, it would be Donuts, but as instrumental, so I was like, nah, I can't do Donuts. But it was my first thought I thought about, like, Dilla has to be on there, Matter has to be on there, Doom has to be on there, Tribe has to be on there, and obviously Wu has to be on this list. This is my go-to. You know what I'm saying? These are my people. You know what I'm saying? So,
you actually helped because we were speaking the other night, and I was like, like, there's so many Wu joints to choose from. Yeah. Different people, like Tribe got multiple joints, Wu got multiple joints, these people got multiple joints, and he was like, sometimes it might have to be multiple joints on your list. Yeah. Like, it just might have to go that way.
Yeah.
If it's that strong. And I was like, all right, 36 it is.
Yeah. So I went the other way with the Tribe. I went Midnight. Cause I went to that skippable part. Like, that part was still like a playthrough. Low End, there might be some parts I might skip. Like, there's some songs I could literally just like, it's cool. I'm cool with the song. But Midnight, and also Midnight goes hand in hand with the other album, 36 Chambers, which is my number 1. They came out on the same day. Same day.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look at that in a vacuum, you're like, how is this possible? This one
because
does not sound like this one, but they're both like one, because Midnight is now a little bit cleaner than Low End. But Wu was just something totally different. It's like, it's almost like RZA made his music in the fact like he's never heard like not saying he never heard music before, like he wasn't paying attention to what nobody was doing. he was like, "This is what I'm doing," and he proved it with 36 Chambers. This is like it's a masterpiece of sounds and
interesting about
arrangements and what's happening.
It's a masterclass.
Yeah.
At a young age, though. But you know what else is interesting about those albums is like when you juxtapose them with everything else that year.
Yeah.
Like they're very ahead of the curve. Both of those albums are very far ahead of the curve. Like Midnight sounds like what was happening in 95. But they were making it in 92.
92, 93, yeah.
92, 93. Yeah. But that sounds like if Tribe would have put out Midnight Marauders in 96 and Beats, Rhymes, and Life never happened, it would still hit the same.
Yeah. Electric Relaxation is
untouchable. It's one of the best beats ever made.
Timeless hip hop production.
It's one of the best songs ever made. Not even just hip hop. Just one of the best songs ever made. It's one of the best singles. Electric Relaxation, I lost my mind. I still am.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we already talked about the other albums. So Midnight is just, just classic. It's not even need to be said. Like it's 36 doesn't need to be said. Fantastic 2, I can say some things, but I mean it's still for me, like the production was just top to bottom. Like
if you've been looking at this show,
this is wild. This is just a wild production. I've never
even
heard
the way they were rhyming was so different than what we were.
Nobody was rapping like that. It was different. It was just all different.
Even the way
really,
the way T3 would be like in a song, it would just weird. It was just different. He would do that in songs.
Most unique rappers of all time.
So crazy.
Yeah, he's one of the most unique of all time. I would say T3 is. Even actually all three of them, but Ba Chen too is like he was not rapping like other people. They were different. They were all different.
Like people have been sleeping on Dilla's raps for many years.
And Dilla was killing it. Dilla was best than the other guy.
Dilla's better than Dilla's better than some rappers who only rap.
Yeah, like low key.
Like that.
Well, not even low key, high key. Dilla was spitting
all the keys.
Alicia keys.
All the keys, yeah. 88 keys. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. So let me see. My top three.
What's your top? Top three.
Look, bring us home, man.
Little brother.
Little brother, the listening. Little brother, minstrel show, and little brother, get back.
And the clips. The clips. Hell hath no fury.
So, unfortunately, there were no VA artists in my list. Unfortunately, but Low in Theory.
Let me put you in the cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Missy on the list, man. You out of here, man. Goodbye.
Now,
for
a second, I have struggled with Missy for the last 3 days because I wanted Super Duper Fly, but then I was like, man, are people going to be mad because it's kind of half and half? It's kind of like a half and half singing, half and half.
Oh, like Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, but then you do have an album like The Cookbook where it's highly on the hip hop side.
Lauryn got 2 rapping joints on there.
Yeah, it's like
I was not with it. I was not prepared at all.
Yeah, you got they stuck you for your riches, man, on that one.
They stuck me for my riches, man. Yo, man, not.
So, but then Missy does have an album like The Cookbook or something like that, where it's like heavily on the rap side.
Ooh, you took it to the club.
Yep, and don't sleep. Part of hip hop is the club. You know what I'm saying? One huge
her
thing,
whole album would be about the club. That was crazy.
Yeah, that whole
whole
dance community is fully supported by Timbo and Missy. But
yeah, man, they got a lot of dance there, man.
My top 3.
All right, let's get it.
Low in Theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rude Boy, Composure, Step to Me, You're Over. You know what I'm saying? Man, look. Man, Fife came out
what a line that was.
Fife came out swinging on this album. Like from the top.
Yeah, brother.
Like, man.
Off tops.
Because
he was a non-factor on the first album.
Because he's like on 2 songs? One?
Something like that. Yeah, like 2 or 3. He's on Can I Kick It?
Yeah.
He's on this song. What's that song toward the end where they talking about is it ham and eggs or something?
Yeah, it's like green eggs and ham.
He's only on like 2.
So he's not there really, he's barely on the album. But second album, whoo,
Microphone check 1, 2. What is this?
And he improved in every statistical category. His delivery was better.
His
raps were better. His vocal presence was better. His amount of times rhyming was better. Like it was just all across the board. He stepped all the way up.
Like the Steve Biko track. There's just this is so much.
That's Midnight.
Sorry, wrong song.
You talking about Kurt?
Talking about bugging out.
Bugging out.
Yeah, bugging out. Yeah. Wait, Butter's on it too, right? Butter, smooth like butter.
So we got Low End Theory. Then I got to give it to Mr. Bay, Black on Both Sides.
Wow, that is the surprise of the show.
That's
Black on Both Sides
right there.
Black on Both Sides. Black on Both Sides. Black on Both Sides is, and I know people gonna be mad. Black on Both Sides kind of pushed out Cuban Links because I tried to think of how many times I listened to each album. Now I know, I know.
It's your list.
I tried to think about how many times I've listened to each album, and then I was like, okay, I've listened to this, and then I started to think about so
you saying that Habitat is better than Ice Cream? I feel you. All right. Continue.
Oh man!
He listened, man. He listened to it way more.
Yo, I actually love that track. I love that track. Mr. N. I still reference that song now, even in regular conversation. Man, that album, but that album was a huge part of where I was in my life at that time. Same thing for in a different way.
That influenced a lot of my list too, like where I was at.
Yeah. So in a similar way, Jill Scott's second album, when it first came out, I hated it. And years later, I'm like, no, man, this is a good album. Why didn't I like it? At the time, I was going through a bad breakup when it came out. I didn't want to hear about no love. I want to hear about no love and no romance. So I hated the album when it came out. Now, years later, I'm like, no, man, this is a good album. This is great. So it's kind of like where I was. And like Mos Def, I feel like at that time, Mos Def then Yasin Bey now, I feel like we were on a very similar wavelength, at least musically. And, like where I was thinking. So that's why that. And then number 1, best hip hop group in history, De La Soul is dead. Best hip hop group because they've never broken up. You've never seen no stupid beef between none of them. At least not publicly. I don't know. Maybe behind the scenes, they're like, I can't stand you.
But publicly,
no stupid beefs. And they've always came with the heat. And
no whack albums.
Albums. And De La Soul is Dead, I think, is a perfect mix of not taking yourself too seriously, but also displaying a high level of skill. And
I debated that album too when I was choosing the De La album. I was like,
because it's like, it's irreverent, it's funny, but they also got skills, and it's like, Arckatron has the cymbals right there. When you hear this sound, turn the page. So it's man, Biddy's at the BK Lounge. It's hilarious.
Amazing.
I used to work at Burger King, so I mean, hey, look, it's hilarious. Man, they want to hear all this hardcore stuff. that album, to this day, if somebody was like, hey, aliens come down and they want to know what hip hop is, at least in one of those mixes of, say if you can only pick 3 albums, De La Soul is Dead is going to be in there. I don't know what the other two might be, Illmatic and I don't know, The Chronic or something, I don't know. But De La Soul is Dead will be there. You know, I mean, that's actually a pretty good mix too. Like you got the street stuff with 36, and then you got the kind of like fun, irreverent side of De La, where it's like, we're not taking ourselves too seriously, but don't sleep, we got skills kind of thing. It's like,
sleep. We will put these hands on you. Don't sleep.
Oh man. We whooped that. Keep the feelings aside. I know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
You know what that is? That's a Light reference right there. That's an MC Light reference right there.
Yep. So it you know, those 3 albums for me, they're just kept, man. Low End Theory. I think those 3 albums I can kind of rotate on and on, but none of these are bad, man. Like, cause 36, trust me, I had my time where 36 was in the Walkman every day. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the Walkman. Because you can't be just having tons of tapes. You can only pick one tape to be on the bus with. You can't have like a whole briefcase of tapes.
You could get a couple of.
You can get like 2 tapes in your pocket, but you can't just be having tapes all day. You know? So it's like,
can't have a whole collection, but you can have a couple of your favorites.
And like, so
you know what I used to do with the tapes? I don't know if you used to do this, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
If I love the song enough, like Crush on You is like this for me. Little Kim, the original with the album version. That's just Little C's on it. I loved it so much, I just recorded it over and over on the whole side of the tape. So I wouldn't have to keep rewinding them.
Yo, I've never done it, but that was perfect. That's repeat. That's the first repeat. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's the first repeat.
All right, so I guess with that said, I'll throw it to who I throw it to. You know what? I'm gonna throw it to Arckatron. I'm gonna throw it to Arcatron for final thoughts and where they can find you.
Final thoughts is the list was difficult to make. I took days on this. And yeah, it's hard. Actually, y'all at home, try to make a top 10 hip hop list and see
of all time. Even for you.
Drop them lists, man. Drop them top 10 lists.
Yeah, drop them in the comments.
You're gonna find out how hard it is to leave out.
We might have to do one where we do some top 10s from the comments, man.
Yeah, we'll see what you guys' comments are and drop it in the chat, because I want to know. Because it's just hard to do, like especially like picking like it kind of against each other, like who's beating out who's the best in the competition, who's winning the race. It's hard to.
You're gonna find out how hard it is to leave out.
But
I left out AT Aliens
because
AT Aliens was huge for me.
You can fly back and I remember.
You see, the Infamous is not on the Mob. Does not appear on the.
Yo, y'all have no idea.
Prodigy is in my top 5 all time.
I had before when I first did the list, I put number 10 and I put the War Report as number 10. That's where I was going with it.
Wow. Okay.
It got bumped out as I started.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a
War Report is number 10.
War Report is because that's another one. War Report on the low is really, but then it's like once you start naming other stuff like Cuban Links, Low End Theory, it's like snap. It's like War Report can't stay.
Cuban Links had to be on there, and everything else, Infamous, everything has to be secondary. Like it's in the same
around Cuban Links.
I mean, it's like Cuban Links, and it has to be in the next ring of 10. Can't be with in there. I'm sorry, but it's a great album. It's like that. I had Supreme Clientele was close to being on the list.
Yeah,
I was going to put Supreme.
I consider that as well.
I had When Disaster Strikes too, but I was like, Bus had to go out because I'm like, that's after track 15. Them last 2 tracks I ain't listening to. I'm already scared. The album's done already for me. So I rarely listen to the full
Bustin' do be having long
album
hours.
Yeah. So that one had to go. Liquid Swords was close, but I think it might have been Bible to take it off from me. Actually, Bible might be the reason why I took it off.
I considered Liquid Swords too, like for the same reason. Like Cuban Links, Liquid Swords.
Like Water was on mine too.
36.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to change my link for you. What's your link now? Sorry. Arckatron.bandcamp?
Oh, Arckatron.bandcamp. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it to. I still own Arckatron. I just have to switch it over to Bandcamp again. It just takes a lot of brain power.
Just making sure, because I gotta change your link. I don't want people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my bad, Joe. I should have told you this. I did it like a couple weeks ago. I was like, ain't nobody checking for my stuff. But yeah, if you are, just type in Arckatron in Google and you'll find all my stuff still. But, you know what I mean? Yeah. But Like Water was on my list too. But yeah, your final thoughts, man. Like
Anwar, final thoughts?
Hey, Anwar. Yes.
Yeah, man. Fun exercise, man. Yeah, I ain't got too much, man.
Yeah.
What up? Where can they find you at?
Don't find me.
He said don't find me.
If y'all want to find me, Google is your friend. Other than that, I ain't got no time for that extra stuff that y'all ain't gonna do anyway.
All right, so peep this. I realized how it really feels personal that you're leaving people out. Because like Life After Death was in the top 10 at first. Yep.
Let's go.
Man, I love Life After Death. But as I start going on, and I'm like, okay, so now it's in my top 20. Is like, let me see. Okay, this is what I started out with my top 10. De La Soul is Dead, Super Duper Fly, Life After Death, Reasonable Doubt, Illmatic. I started with those 5. And then when I started, I was like, well, Missy really kind of does half and half rap, so I don't know if that really counts. Then I was like, well, I love Life After Death, but then I started adding other stuff like Water for Chocolate. Then I started thinking, okay, how many times have I listened to these full albums all the way back? Like, even though I've listened to all of these albums a lot, which ones have I listened to more? Which ones started meaning more to me at certain points? Then, like, all of these other albums started coming in. That's how AT-Aliens, which was originally like number 9 or so, they got chucked. Because AT-Aliens was like everything for like a year, but then I haven't really listened to the whole album in a long time. Now I still love Outkast.
Wheels
I still
Steel. Back to back.
There
Elevator.
that I had to like consider. One of them was Nas. It Was Written. I had to choose.
Okay.
Ooh,
right.
It was written as like
it was written as Flames.
And I still listen to it. I was listening to it yesterday. So it's in rotation always and forever. But I just had to choose. And another one that was long in the workings of my top 10, because I had about 5.
Yeah.
You know, personally. But then I kind of started thinking about it. I was like, am I going to put this in it? Nah, I'm going to leave it off this time. Was Alcoholics' first album.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. I had stuff like in there, like,
album. Never heard that.
Like Return of the Boom Bap, which meant a lot to me. Mama Said Knock You Out was a fire LL album. And then honestly,
Muddy Waters is the one I had.
Muddy Waters is another one that I've listened to that album a lot.
It was close. It was number 12 on mine. It was close.
Yeah, mine was always hanging around at number 10. And then it got kind of pushed out for other stuff because it's like, but yeah, Muddy Waters was heavy favorite to be in like 8, 9, 10, something like that. So and then it also depends on how I feel. 5 years from now, Muddy Waters might be like number 5 or something like that. So
yeah.
Because I mean, Redman, y'all guys know I got the respect I have for Redman. So, and man, Muddy Waters for me has no skips. So it was close. It's just once you start listing, you like, damn, it's so many.
What did you say?
Lord Quaz as well, and I
Lord Quaz joint further eventually.
Yeah, because I thought about like I kind of wanted a Dilla Madlib presence, but at the same time, I just more went with you know, things that connect me to the earth a certain way. A certain time frame.
I work. So
yes, exactly.
The Timberland dance. It's a Timberland. Exactly. It's a Timberland move right there.
Man, but shouts to Timbo and Missy, who gave a young.
I couldn't fit Timberland nowhere on my list. I couldn't fit him.
If Timberland was going to get in there, it was going to be on a Missy album, which is another person who I think the first 3-4 albums all got flames. So I have no problem with Missy albums. Queen didn't make it on there, even though Queen is on my top MCs.
So, I had Elduff Half-Life on mine. I forgot. That's what I had on mine. I was wrestling. I was wrestling with Elduff Half-Life. I was like, ooh, should I do the Roots? Because that was a pivotal tape for me.
That was the first album that got me onto them.
I'm surprised.
That's the first tape I heard.
I'm surprised that was in contention over Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart? Nah, Elduff Half-Life is where I start with the Roots. That's like my root.
Concerto is still one of my favorite Root songs, though.
Yo, I listen to Clones, yo. Clones is fire right now.
Spazzing all over that thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
whoa, we don't really get a lot of like posse tracks like that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, everybody come in and go crazy.
I thought about Wu-Tang Forever over 36.
That's on there too.
Not because it's like, not because I think it's better, but just like how pivotal it was for me.
Yeah, I thought about it too.
Forever was really pivotal.
After our talks, NY, I had to kibosh.
I ruined.
Oh, not kibosh.
Wu-Tang Forever. I had to throw it out of here. I had to go back to scratch with that album. We're going back to the tape. But we'll talk about that later. But
for the Little Brother fans, there's a Little Brother album floating somewhere in maybe like top 50 land, something maybe like that. Like I don't hate Little Brother. I know the other two on here. I don't hate them. I do think they have a place in the pantheon of hip hop and kind of like this sort of resurgence of kind of a, I don't know, like early 90s ish kind of feel or something like that. But I don't know. They also did kind of usher in this lazier crew of rappers that kind of I don't know how to articulate it, but was it Tanya Morgan and stuff like that? They kind of ushered them in, and it kind of but there are some good songs that I really like on the listening on Minstrel Show, and also on with Nicolay with Foreign Exchange. Yeah. So I do respect that, but then there's also this other crew that kind of, because they came out, they were allowed to come out, and they were even lesser than I think Little Brother was. Even though I noticed
that neither of y'all had any of my albums on projects on it. It's fine. Oh. I just want to let y'all know that I noticed.
Right, I'll tell you this right now. Oh, okay. I just meant the ones you actually like. Half the joints, I have not listened to. I'll say the EPMD,
half of my project?
Yeah, the ones that I think that your top.
No,
oh no,
your projects.
That's what I'm saying. I noticed that.
I know you talking about that.
Y'all didn't have.
I'm talking about
Make It on there. Nothing. Y'all didn't have.
I ain't seen Unheard or Space Bridge.
Yeah,
where those albums at?
I had to write mine quicker than you.
I was rapping on it. I don't even rap.
I had to write my list so fast. I was on the You was making yours for days.
Antoine Allen says, weren't they the Justice League altogether? I mean, I guess so, but there were definitely, the Justice League was essentially a lower, oh man, I don't want to say this. This is going to sound...
Don't do that, man. Wow, you just blame them.
Yeah, just look, I like Little Brother. They're not in top 10, but I do think they can be in top 50 land somewhere. But but I don't hate it. So
I'm speaking Mr. Fonte immediately.
Man, even though Fonte got rhymes, you know what I'm saying? It's not that he don't. It's,
his last album's pretty good.
Yeah, Don't Sleep. So with that said, NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places are woo for you. We got podcasts, all that jazz. Look, man, all you gotta do is like it, share it, subscribe it.
Put your top 10 in the comments. Put your top 10 in the comments.
Put your top 10 in the comments.
We want to see those top 10,
man.
Start realizing how hard it is to get that top 10. You know what I'm saying? Once you start whittling down, it ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, from us to you, we got Black Comics coming. We got Beats coming. I'll go see Elixir.
I'll go see.
There's some Arckatron on there.
I heard
some Ali Thieves.
There's some Arcatron in there somewhere. Maybe some SP and somebody. Yeah, you have Ali Thieves. Yeah, Ali Thieves too, man.
Yeah. So and I'm gonna make some more, because since y'all like the Black Comics, I'm gonna make some more and all that jazz. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw them down there so y'all can see those pages. Go buy you some books, read, because it's fundamental. We out. Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
And a woo for you, and a woo for you.
A woo for you. Oh, for you, for you.
We out.
For you.
If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me.
you.